Hi, I'm Ember Conley, your host for Political Peaks. I'm joined today with the Mayor of Park City, Andy Beerman. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Ember.
Well, as you prepare for the State of the City address for tomorrow evening, tell us a little bit. I know that you'll of course share all of the details around maybe some of the big, broad categories that you'll be discussing.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to put it in context a little bit first.
Absolutely.
When we do the State of Park City here, it is not a big formal affair like you picture with some State of the Cities or State of the State. It's really meant to be a midwinter celebration. This time of year, town's typically very busy. We're all working a lot, and the locals don't have a lot of excuses to get together and celebrate. And so we sort of view Valentine's Day, hump day for the winter, and the goal when we started this 3 years ago was to bring everybody out to talk about what we've accomplished in the past year and see each other, celebrate our successes, and talk about what we'd like to do next. And so this year is a little different. Like everything else, we've had to adapt it, and it's going to be 100% virtual. So we've been trying to figure out how to be both informational and talk about the past year, what we've experienced, what we've learned, and talk about what we'd like to do going forward, but also celebrate a little bit and try to feel some togetherness, even though we're all going to be apart.
You know, I think that's super important that you talk about that idea of bringing people together, continuing to discuss how we can find that middle ground. I know reading, of course, some of the written content of some of the topics that you and the council are trying to address. And of course, the Arts and Cultural District has become definitely a hot topic, especially with the new price tag. What's the tenor right now for moving forward with the Arts and Cultural District?
That's a good question, and we're trying to get that. We're trying to hear from the public. I think generally, if you look at the long game and you look at what the community wants and what they've consistently wanted, they wanted to see an increase in arts and culture. They'd like to see a sustainable development in the center of town that is connected on the transit network. They'd like to see more affordable housing, and we believe that this project is a good answer for that. Where it's run into a couple of hitches like everything else. The economy took a dive, our confidence took a dive when COVID hit. And so we've just really been taking our time sorting through this, making sure we've got our cost estimating in place, making sure we have our expectations in place, and making sure our partners are on board, and then taking public feedback along the way. I would say the feedback I get is the public is still very supportive of the idea, but they are a little skittish about the price tag in the context of the crisis we're facing at the moment.
You know, as you talk about, you know, the decisions that the council's making and the top priorities, affordable housing and transportation continues, of course, to be discussion points within the council. But of course, that's going over into other cities within Summit County and Wasatch County. Was just having a conversation with the mayor of Francis and saying, you know, we recognize the need for affordable housing, but yet we're really caught in this, you know, we don't want to change who we are, but we have such significant needs with our surrounding areas of not having any place to be able to provide for our teachers, for our firefighters, for our, you know, our police officers. Where are the discussions with the council around any upcoming projects?
Well, we had hoped to be this spring going into the ground at Woodside Park 2, which is a nice central project behind the 8 homes we just put in right on Park Avenue and across from the library. However, we ran into some challenges with that. We thought the seniors wanted to relocate. We were going to build them a new facility, and they decided they weren't ready to relocate, and we've had some neighbors complain and file an appeal. So that project is held up as we redesign and sort through it. So the council's really shifted its focus over to the Bonanza area, both the 5-acre lot where the Arts and Culture District's going, and then next door to it, there's the Homestake lot, which is about 2.5 acres. We've always intended to put some housing there, and so that's what we're looking at now. The only thing that really changes at this point is the type of housing. Whereas on Woodside, it was going to be 4 purchase units, probably larger in size, meaning for small families, 2 or 3 bedroom units. What we're looking at building in Bonanza is probably going to be a little bit higher density. They're going to be rental units, and they're going to be smaller in size. So we're missing a bunch of rungs on the whole lower half of our housing ladder. So it's hard to go wrong. Whatever you build, there's probably going to be a huge demand for. But we have had to reevaluate both our economic model and make sure that that's how council wants to prioritize. But what I saw at our last meeting is a pretty clear desire to move forward with housing in Bonanza and to do rental housing.
You know, one of the things that I think has brought the attention to the amount of growth that we've had here in... Do you have some background noise? You have someone in the peanut gallery?
I had a visitor come into my office, and she was wanted to make sure I was paying attention.
Okay, well, that's awesome.
That's our office dog, Sookie.
I love that.
She wasn't being hurt. She's just very demanding when she's not.
Well, that's how all of our pets are these days. We've all been home, and anytime that we're gone now, they expect us to take them with us. So there we go.
Well, cats have been my favorite on Zoom.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of entertainment.
Has it not been hysterical? Like you'll see a tail go by. I know
Exactly.
the many facets of Zoom. Getting back to what we talked, with affordable housing, with transportation, I think one of the things that we've seen really through COVID and as we've received our vaccines, of course, has been our 2010 census, right? So people are still really confused around why aren't we getting more vaccines? And as we, keep sharing, well, it was based on our 2010 census. And then we look at our numbers now, 2020, 2021, and I mean, our growth has truly been remarkable in the sense of, both primary and secondary homeowners. And so as we look at more of our secondary homeowners maybe transitioning to full-time here, has this changed your infrastructure needs within Park City Municipal?
Probably not in the short term. I mean, the reality is we're a town of 8,000 full-time residents. But that town, on any average day, you have well over 40,000 people in town. When you take our second homeowners and our workforce, and then when you have events like Sundance or Arts Festival, you can balloon up over to 100,000. So as a town, our infrastructure, our public safety systems, our transit systems, they're all very dynamic. And so it can handle the growth. So in the short term, my bigger concern is probably how it impacts the schools. With new student enrollment, but having spoken with the school board, they said the enrollment was modest and it's not something they couldn't accommodate. So it's something we'll keep an eye on, but I think we do have a little bit of room to grow on the front in terms of essential infrastructure.
Well, I know that that's something that has been on agendas for many, many years of continuing to accommodate those that live within Park City proper. I want to end the conversation around social media, around the negativity, and around the idea of asking you why you continue to put yourself out there and you continue to serve those within Park City. What really keeps you going during this time which can be really contentious?
Yeah, there's definitely some frustration and anger out there, and you hear about that. But I'll tell you, there's two different worlds. If I were to look at my world through just social media, I would probably be pretty disappointed and pretty frustrated. But when I go to the post office, when I run into people around town, when I get outdoors and even distanced in masks, people come up to me, they thank me, and they're much more optimistic on things. And so I think you have to compartmentalize the anonymous comments that are targeting elected officials and school board members and public safety officials and everybody just trying to find their way through this crisis, which is unprecedented. Right. And we're all just figuring it out as we go. Versus there are an awful lot of residents out there that are very supportive and grateful. And I think as we all start to come out this summer and start to see our neighbors again, we're gonna hear more of that.
Well, I want to, again, always express appreciation for your leadership and your service. We know that these are not easy jobs. And best of luck tomorrow evening as you celebrate the accomplishments and as we look forward and you share the state of the city.
Thank you. I really hope folks will come out. We've tried hard to keep it interesting and interactive, and it's going to be short and fun. So please join us.
Awesome. I'm Ember Conley, your host for Political Peaks. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Park City TV, on our Comcast channels 17102 and over the air on channel 36.